preseason All Big East first team selection, Jared Bynum, Theo.
When your best player is your point guard and you have to have all this turnover from one year to the next, you got to have somebody to get your scorers the ball. Providence has those guys, but Jared Bynum is excellent at finding those guys in positions to score. Going to be tough for Stonehill to stop him tonight.
Let's get to the starting lineup, sponsored by Jeep. There's only one, and when you look at the starting lineup, what do you see?
You know what to expect when you're looking at Providence, but for Stonehill, a veteran-laden team, 4 seniors and a junior, but keep an eye out for number 32, the man, the myth, the mullet. Andrew Sims averaging 19 points a game through week 1.
Gotta love that. This is the 5th all-time meeting between these two. Providence is in the home whites and Stonehill in the road purple. And Stonehill is going to start out on defense here, and a lot of transfers on this team that I noticed right away, T.O.
Right out of the gate, Noah Locke with the ball. Florida/Louisville transfer to Devin Carter with a nice cut. Ed Cooley's going to be able to draw up a lot of things to get his guys open. He loves baseline screens for easy baskets. Devin Carter, the beneficiary on the first possession.
And on the other side, we got some transfers over there for Stonehill as well. One of those, Max Zagorowski, a guy that a lot of Big East folks will know pretty well. His twin brother was a star over at Creighton. That shot off the mark, and that'll stay Stonehill ball.
Zagorowski, a good shooter in his own right with some good size.
It's like a little Ed Cooley now in his 12th season as the Friars head coach. You see the record, the reigning Big East Coach of the Year and Naismith Coach of the Year as well, Tio.
Well, he certainly had my vote. His year last season was one of the best in recent memory for Providence College. He's so good at getting guys to buy into their role. This season's going to take a little bit longer, which he elaborated to us a little bit, Josh, but once these pieces come together, this Providence team is going to be a handful.
And Jared Bynum will control, and you see Ed Croswell trying to establish something down low. Another shot there, and that's good from Carter. So Providence now on top 4-0.
You have to like what Devin Carter is able to bring to your team. He's an excellent athlete, a very good season last year in the Southeastern Conference for South Carolina. He has good length and elite athleticism.
Andrew Sims going to work in the post. This is his second game starting. To start the year, he wasn't in the starting lineup, but Coach Chris Krause said he went in and talked to him and decided, hey, it was time to put him back in that starting lineup. Noah Locke off the mark, but on the boards right there. Ed Croswell, get used to that. That man is a beast on the glass. Carter again from the corner. Knocks it down. Carter is hot to start the game.
All 7 points right out of the gate. But what did he do first, Josh? He got one close to the basket. That gets your rhythm going. And whenever you're playing with a bunch of different bodies like Providence, multiple guys that can make decisions, you're going to end up with easy looks.
And Bynum is off the mark.
What you'll notice with Stonehill as well, a lot of guys, it's similar as far as size is concerned. Multiple guys can bring the ball up the floor. They do have a free-flowing offense, so not a lot of set play calls. But this guy right here, Andrew Sims, if they're going to be able to compete, he's the guy to look for.
Yeah, averaging 19 points a game. Can't get that one to fall, and he's going to have tough with those big bodies, a tough time with those big bodies down low on Providence. And how about this one?
This is not a desirable start for Stonehill, but Bryce Hopkins, that's what makes him valuable. He's a grab-and-go rebounder. Get it out of the rim, take it yourself. Ed Croswell, nice little seal, and the early flush from my man Bryce Hopkins, a Kentucky transfer.
Yeah, and Ed Cooley talked about, he used the word elite when talking about his team in transition. Said the fact that they have so many different guys that could put the ball on the deck and handle is going to be a key for them. They got to get out and run, and we just saw it right there.
Well, you look at the starting lineup, for example, Jared Bynum, Noah Locke, Devin Carter, Bryce Hopkins, 4 out of the 5 in that lineup can take off and initiate the break on their own. And then if Devin Carter's hitting shots, you have a lot of different guys who can space the floor, and that allows you to attack.
Now, if you're Chris Krause, what are you saying to your guys right now as you fall behind early 9-0 in a game you knew you were going to go up against a tough team out of the Big East?
If nothing else, you need to compete on the boards. Second possession of the game, Providence gets 2 offensive rebounds, and you're not putting yourself in position to have any success. Chris Krause, who played at Stonehill, was an assistant coach at Stonehill, pretty much spent the majority of his adult life there at the university.
And now Stonehill on the board with that flush from Thatcher Stone, one of the transfers for this team.
Thatcher Stone's an interesting player. William and Mary transfer, good length, can step out and shoot it a little bit. Decent athlete. Should play really well in the Northeast Conference.
A nice pass there, but Carter can't haul it in. That'll be Stonehill ball. Turnover for Providence.
That's another one of those possessions, though, Josh, where you haven't quite figured out your guys yet, right? Still the third game of the season. You get into the lane. Guys are cutting. Kind of have to figure out where you're going to put the basketball in order for guys to be successful. That is a wild floater.
Zagorowski shot off the mark, and another rebound for Ed Croswell.
I believe that was a moving screen called. Ed Croswell not quite getting set.
So we have back-to-back turnovers for Providence, and Croswell's going to take a seat here. Checking into the game, Cliff Moore for Providence.
Clifton Moore is interesting. Started his college career at Indiana, heads to LaSalle, but he provides a different look for opposing teams. He can step outside at 6'11" and knock down shots. That's a strong move right there.
Thatcher Stone not afraid to attack the big bodies inside for Providence. Now 4 points in the game for him.
But Clifton Moore, number 21 for Providence, he allows you to invert your offense a little bit. He can step out and shoot the three ball, and it gives you a more diverse play call if you're Providence and Ed Cooley.
Hopkins on the drive. Moore comes down with it, and he'll go to the free throw line.
The size discrepancy is pretty distinct, isn't it? They're attacking the offensive glass. Moore has good second bounce whenever he's going for the offensive boards, but one thing that you can see early is how physically imposing not only Clifton Moore, but Bryce Hopkins, whenever he's able to put his head down and get to the rim and he's decisive in his actions, guys are just going to bounce off of it. Whether it's Stonehill or whether it's Seton Hall, like he has that kind of physical presence about it.
And a couple more subs for Stonehill. Checking in Ethan Muser, checking in for the first time, as well as Nathan McGill for the Skyhawks.
Such a smooth shot for 6'11".
Yeah, you'll love to see that. And then Carter back into the game for Providence.
Cooley in the early season testing his depth out. We talked to him a little bit yesterday, Josh, about, I'm going to have to make some tough decisions as far as our rotation is concerned. He's wondering about their depth. He's letting guys kind of feel out how much they can do on the floor. And sometimes that's going to end up being close games in the early season where you would think they would win by 25 or 30 points, right? But what ends up happening is you get a long-term win as Clifton Moore gets over and showing his length and athleticism.
Showing that size, big-time block for Cliff Moore, and Bynum will attack, takes the contact, and gets it to go. So he'll go to the line for a chance at three.
How good is he getting to the rim? Little in and out, getting to the cup, and one.
And the man so far has been Devin Carter for Providence. 7 points early as Providence is in front. Welcome back to FS2 College Hoops, sponsored by Jeep. There's only one right now at the Macon Mutual Pavilion. Providence with a 13-4 lead over Stonehill.
So far, it's been the Devin Carter show. He's an excellent cutter to the basket. Nice pass, Noah Locken up and over with his tremendous athleticism. He's got a little shake to his game, too, for a little jump shot. But one thing, Josh, if he can do this right here, knocking down threes, that adds a different element to his game, and that just further spaces the floor for somebody like a Jared Bynum. If he's knocking down the three, Devin Carter could be deadly.
Yeah, and he had 9 points last game, already up to 7 in this one. So he's en route to have his best game of this season, early albeit, but starting to really fit in with this new squad.
Well, he played for Frank Martin at South Carolina. I talked to Frank in the offseason. He loved coaching that young man, but if he's able to play alongside Jared Bynum and be able to knock down shots, he's an excellent cutter to the basket. That helps. But if he's able to knock down shots, he adds another element to the Friars.
So Stonehill will try and get something to go, now trailing by 10 on the road here at Providence. Muser thought about taking the three there, puts the ball on the deck.
You have to love Providence activity early as I think Muser got away with the moving screen as Jared Bynum gets tangled up. A nice shot nonetheless. Providence's defensive rotations in the first 2 games, at least in the first half, left a little bit to be desired, but you could see their focus and intent to start the game.
Yeah, and that was Shamir Johnson into the game now for Stonehill with his first bucket. He started the first couple games of the season, and now he's going to be a spark off the bench for the Skyhawks. Bynum, nice pass inside. Once again, Moore drawing the foul, and yeah, that size is going to be a problem, it seems like, all night long.
Well, that, and when the ball changes sides of the floor several times, that is really difficult for defenses to guard. Excellent pass, Clifton Moore, ball fake. That's an old man ball fake right there. Fake up to the 45, and you set yourself up. That's what a graduate student, he knows how to use that.
I love that. I'll have to use that old man ball fake. Bynum, another great pass. This one to Hopkins for the flush.
How about that? Bryce Hopkins cutting from the corner. He knows his strengths, and that's his athleticism. Cuts to the basket, reads his defender with the flush.
Yeah, and Bynum's been in attack mode, but it's the passing that has really stood out by Bynum so far in this game, as Thatcher will pull and hit.
Hey, Thatcher Stone has come ready to play.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already down by 7, but at the same time, Thatcher has knocked down a couple shots, attacked the rim. And one quick mistake by Jared Bynum. There hasn't been many, but he's able to get into the lane, and you see Bryce Hopkins, his type of athleticism. It's the opposite corner, help a little bit late. Andrew Sims doesn't quite get down to help the helper situation, and Hopkins ends up with the flush.
Yeah, and that's one thing Ed Cooley talked with us about, is just that athleticism that he does bring. When he's able to figure things out, he's going to be extremely dangerous, and we're seeing it tonight.
The pressure on the basketball has been good for Providence thus far. And hands, contest, closeouts have been good. Alabri goes under the screen, can't do that. On number 22, Shamir Johnson, he's looking for threes every time he's in the game.
Speaking of looking for threes, how about that? Into the game, and Jaden Pierre, the freshman, no hesitation.
High hopes for Jaden Pierre, the freshman. Ed Cooley talked to us yesterday, said, hey, this could be our next All-Big East performer. He's got that leadership mentality. He's excellent. He's vocal. Needs a little grooming, obviously, in order to step into that role, but he is going to be terrific in a Providence uniform.
Yeah, to hear that about a freshman, too. I mean, Ed Cooley was really excited, as you mentioned, about what Pierre can be. Sims going back to work off the mark. Another board for Carter. Hopkins on the attack. Another great pass, and Providence putting on a clinic right now with this attack and pass to the bigs in the paint.
Well, it's very simple offense. Swing the ball, look for bad closeouts, and attack the rim. And Stonehill, they're all around the same size, Josh, and it's all great until you don't guard the guy in front of you. All these coaches talk about, I want to be switchable. I want to be able to guard big guys with different, be able to switch everything. Well, it doesn't work that way if you don't guard who's in front of you. That's something that Stonehill has struggled with early in the season. You got to keep guys in front of you.
And back into the game for the Skyhawks, Cole Bergen and Josh Mack. And you see the numbers there at the free throw line for Clifton Moore. He's going to have a lot of practice, as we've seen so far tonight, if he could go to the free throw line, get that number above 70. And now we see a little press here from Providence.
Man-to-man pressure, just, if nothing else, Josh, just to get your guys in the mentality of playing defense. That's a tough finish by Zach Rath. It's a little unorthodox how he attacks the rim, right? Dribbles the ball a little high. The floater's a little strange, but another cut by my man Devin Carter. That's the best part of his game. We talked about if he's able to make threes. He's an excellent off-ball cutter. It's almost like his dad played in the NBA for, I don't know, 13 years. Just an intelligent off-the-ball player as Providence defense forces another turnover.
Yeah, you talk about that. His dad also now on the coaching staff of the Miami Heat. So he had somebody to look up to who really did some things, not just as a player, but now as a coach. And he must have been telling him about those backdoor cuts, because he's been killing it with those.
Well, you hear so many coaches, they complain about kids that come in, a little bit of zone pressure, it looks like, from Stonehill. 2-3, get that ball in the middle to Moore, let him make some decisions.
Back inside Moore to Croswell, who just checked back into the game. Not good on the first attempt. On the second one, he gets it to go.
Just physically imposing. That's all that was.
Yeah.
I wish I could give you more analysis for what that was, but that's just physically imposing. Ed Croswell just playing harder than the Stonehill Skyhawks.
What was the analysis that Ed Cooley gave us? He's an unkempt bed, he said, because, you know, you look at it, it's a little sloppy, but he brings a lot to the table and he just gets the job done, and he's comfortable was the word with that. So that's not a negative when you hear unkempt bed. That's actually a positive, folks.
Clear the runway. Nice finish.
And he'll have a chance for three. Out in transition, Providence once again going back to the free throw line.
Just another example of getting out in transition and running, but Allen Breed, he can handle it in the full court. An easy pass to Charlie Moore. Providence taking off with it.
All right, welcome back to Amica Pavilion here in Providence, Rhode Island. Providence on top 27-11 right now. And while we were away, we listened to a little Ed Cooley in the huddle.
I want to stay in transition. In front of the rim, you got to get more physical in front of the rim. Anytime we can cross the midline, let's look for those seals. 40 attack, play off at 2 feet. Everybody rebound. Listen, Ed, when we corral the rebound, don't lob the ball up. When you get it out and go. 1-2 dribble and go, and go, and go, and go.
Ed Cooley just explaining to his team, hey, we're having success in transition offense. Get that ball out of off the rim. 1 or 2 dribbles. If you're a big man, get it out to a guard. If you're a guard getting the rebound, get out and push it. You can make decisions. We've referenced it, Josh. So many different guys for this Friars team can make decisions in transition and get shots for either themselves or their teammates.
And speaking of pushing the ball, Stonehill pushing the ball into the front court.
Noticeable change of pace out of the timeout for Stonehill. They've been kind of jogging through cuts. You can tell Chris Krause, an excellent fit. An excellent cut, excuse me.
Yeah, Nathan McGill on the finish there. And like you mentioned, that's what we saw from Providence all game long, those cuts. Well, Stonehill doing it. And remember, we heard from Chris Krause that they run some sets that he learned watching and talking with Ed Cooley. I wonder if that was one of those sets he learned from his one of his mentors.
Well, that was good offensive basketball. And when you run offense with pace, Josh, you're going to be able to get the defense confused. Lack of communication by Providence, and it ends up in an easy bucket for Stonehill. If they play with pace, that's how they can compete.
Chance to cut into the lead. Zagorowski from deep. Moore comes down with another one.
That ball moving from side to side. You get it to your beast inside. You got to be stronger with the basketball and know that help is coming.
Not able to get that one to go. Isaiah Burnett came over to help out on defense to try and stop Croswell in the paint. Pull from the corner, and that one is good from Burnett.
Burnett's a nice player. He's averaged 14 points a game so far this season. Kind of gives you that big switchable guard in theory. He can attack the rim. A Naval Academy transfer. Goes to Stonehill and has seen some success early in the season.
Yeah, he scored a season high 19 points last game against Army, so he definitely can fill it up. And Mack comes over and forces the jump ball.
It's good high-low action, but Mack recognizing what's happening and getting down and smothering the post. Mack's a good athlete. He's a city champion in the triple jump. Does a lot of nice things for this Stonehill team, especially defensively with his athleticism. Seldom used, but comes and brings energy.
And you saw Mack will go to the bench. Moore also going back to the bench. Checking into the game, Thatcher Stone back in for the Skyhawks.
Jaden Pierre guarding the ball. He brings a different level of intensity. That's that freshman we referenced, right, Josh? Somebody who gets out, bothers the ball, forces some quick decisions by the opposing team.
Bergen going to work. Hopkins guarding him. A little hook shot in the paint. Just off the mark.
And this is where Providence is dangerous with Hopkins in the game. You have a 4-5 pick and roll. Not many teams in the country can do that with effectiveness.
And Carter draws the foul on Stone.
You grab it, strong move, get baseline, two hands. Thatcher Stone can't do that. But Devin Carter, he's difficult to keep in front. And at first glance, he's not somebody who's overly quick, but he takes such long steps whenever he's trying to get to the basket that it's deceptive. You can't really keep up with his pace. I couldn't guard anybody, Josh, so I'm not sure I can.
Another great cut there of Hopkins, who gets the bucket.
But Devin Carter, he's a handful for any team just because of that pace he plays with. 9 points so far tonight. Activity's been good for Providence off the ball. Pretty good communication. Only one real mistake so far. Jaden Pierre is a dog on this end.
He's got Burnett tied up. We'll kick it out to Bergen. Shot clock down at 5. So he'll have to get this off, and a steal there. Able to keep it in. Rafael Castro in the game now for Providence, but just a little bit too much. You maybe don't want your big running the fast break there if you're Ed Cooley.
You got to love the confidence, but you might want to rein that one in a little bit. Castro played extremely well in their 2 exhibition games, and his usage rate obviously dropped a little bit during the regular season, but you have to like the potential on this young man. 6'11", excellent shot block timing, could be a quality defender in this league. He's just still young. Redshirt freshman, needs to maintain his discipline.
Zagorowski on the attack.
Side to side. Good offense.
Open, and that's good from Noah Locke.
And that's good offense. Ball moves from side to side. You have a miscommunication on the back end. Noah Locke, if there's one thing he can do, Josh, it's knock down threes. Yeah, 40% for pretty much the entirety of his career. In transition, this Providence team is deadly, and it can be multiple guys. This time it was Bryce Hopkins with the one more. And in the corner, if that's Noah Locke, you can forget it. Providence up 16.
Welcome back to the Amica Mutual Pavilion in Providence, Rhode Island, where the Friars have a 16-point lead over Stonehill. And this is a little bit of a special game for Ed Cooley because, yeah, he's a graduate of Stonehill, the class of '94. You see, played there for 5 years, a 3-year captain on the basketball team. He was actually inducted into the Stonehill Athletic Hall of Fame back in 2019, T.O.
I saw a picture with elbows high. That's all I'd say. Elbows were high whenever he got it. Hey, you can tell 3-year captain, those are the guys that usually have success whenever they do decide to get into coaching. And the Naismith National Coach of the Year, I have a vote. He had my vote. I thought what he was able to do last season was phenomenal. And his ability, things are rolling in Providence right now. The crowd, the student section is at an all-time high. It is a truly unique place to experience a basketball game.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things he said is so many years removed from there, the emotions aren't necessarily what they used to be when he goes there. But I have the feeling deep down inside he felt something playing against Stonehill.
Oh, well, I will say this. If it's deep down inside, it's way deep down inside. He emphasized to us yesterday, look, I'm all good for emotions, but I need to get my team better. I need to figure out my rotations going into Christmas time. And so far, he's got to be pretty pleased with the intensity his team's showing today.
Yeah, what did he say about practice? He said yesterday they were going to practice very hard, very physical. Speaking of physical, Hopkins getting physical on the drive, and he'll go to the free throw line for a chance at 3.
So strong, so physical, but what puts it over the top is his quickness. Whenever you put quickness and power together, you could really take advantage of some mismatches. Bryce Hopkins can certainly do that. I thought he was underutilized last year at Kentucky. Was kind of a cup of coffee guy. That's what Ed Cooley said, right? Like, he could have been used more as an energy guy, but here at Providence, he's going to be featured a little more. He's going to be put in some isolation situations. This is a guy that could have a massive career in a Friars uniform in a place where he's going to be featured a lot more.
Yeah, 9 points so far in this game. Him and Carter leading the way for Providence. Chaz Stinson into the game for the first time for Stonehill. Zagorowski from straight away. Still unable to get it to go from deep. him on the attack. Can't get that one to go. Pushing the pace. Andrew Sims out in transition. Block from Hopkins.
How about that? The effort to get back, a missed layup, and you still have one of your better players hustling back to contest a shot. Big time block. Bryce Hopkins.
Yeah, and I bet he wanted that one back, a turnover with a chance to get a block and a basket, but they'll have to settle and get back out on D.
That's a heck of a play not to get back and not foul, right? Andrew Sims thinks he has an easy one, uses his outside hand. No, sir.
So Providence holding on to a 35-16 lead, 6:26 to go, and Andrew Sims having all kind of trouble with Devin Carter hounding him.
And here comes Bryce Hopkins. He gets back, shows great hustle, off 2 feet, doesn't foul. The left hand, so he stays away from body contact. There's not many people who can do that. That's elite athleticism and a powerful leaper.
Yeah, it's a big reason. Obviously, Kentucky wanted him, and a big reason why Ed Cooley wanted him, and now has him at Providence.
Going to get a look at Corey Fleur Jr. His dad, a UConn transfer, number 14. A UConn transfer. His dad played at Providence for 2 seasons. I was a big fan of his coming out of high school. Pit bull defender. Played with a really good team final team over the course of the summer with EYBL.
And Mack gets that one to go.
Sometimes the most dangerous guy is the inbounder.
He's
right,
left all alone there.
Some more matchup zone pressure. This is where Bryce Hopkins can be good for you. Excellent pass. Oh, wow.
And blocked there by Johnson. Johnson will pull, and he knocks that one down.
He's got a good-looking shot. Always has his feet set. Johnson, the senior, can get it off in a hurry. Waterbury, Connecticut resident. Big-time shooter as well.
Nice footwork there from Hopkins. Can't get it to go, and Stonehill coming the other way.
Those are some of the growing pains that's going to drive you a little bit crazy with Bryce Hopkins early, because he makes million-dollar moves. And then when he gets there, he doesn't quite know how to be a dude. And when I say that, play with pace, he's going to make some of those as the season goes on.
Zagorowski finally gets one to go from deep, cutting into the lead. Providence still up by 11, but that was a big-time basket from Zagorowski. A little unorthodox, you called his game, but he's a kid that can shoot it. He can fill it up when he needs to.
Well, you see, he puts that ball way out in front of him whenever he pulls up. He's not somebody that really necessarily going to create for himself all that much, but you give him that much room. Josh, I think you could tee it up there, too.
Yeah, I'd like to think it, man. I could fill it up back in the day. Not at your level, not at yours, but, you know, I could do some things.
Stonehill, when they've been able to play with pace, they've been able to get a little bit of offense. Whenever they've slowed down and Providence has been able to use their physicality, that's when they've struggled a little bit more. But you see Ed Cooley talk to us, I might have to shorten the bench a little bit. He's got some of those second unit guys in there right now.
Yeah, 5 new guys in for Providence after that timeout. And yeah, you mentioned earlier in the game that he talked about shortening the bench, but you know, with a lead right now, he can go a little deeper into the bench here in the first half. Lob up to Carter. Can't come down with it. Stays with it. Blocked by Zagorowski.
I thought it was amazing that Carter even caught that ball, because that was an awful pass for an alley-oop. His athleticism just let him get there.
Sims thought about the 3, uses the pump fake, now doubled. Burnett, nice little Euro. And Baker falls.
Team defense is leaving a little bit to be desired. You got to have more discipline on your closeout, and you have to help the helper. Allen Breed got caught down low trying to help the first guy. He needs the guys to show over for him as they get another easy bucket. They're just physically overwhelming on the offensive end if they hit layups. That's about the only way I can describe that. But on the defensive end, it's all second rotations and helping out that second rotation. That's where some of these buckets for Stonehill around the rim are coming from.
Zagorowski with the kick. Now McGill from the wing. Carter will pull.
Pace right now favoring Stonehill a little bit. They're moving the basketball defense into offense and then trying to get Providence in a little bit of a scramble. And Zagorowski, you give him time, he can knock it down, not that occasion.
Carter on the drive, he'll kick. Noah Locke from the corner.
And it's not just Providence. Stonehill showing a little bit of life. It was Burnett. Ball fake, little Euro, up and over. Stonehill trying to make a game out of this.
Monday, Team USA begins their long-awaited FIFA World Cup journey as Christian Pulisic leads the Stars and Stripes against Gareth Bale and Wales. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox and anywhere on the Fox Sports app. And looking at the USA group games, the fixtures, they've got Wales, like I mentioned, that big game against England November 25th, the day after Thanksgiving, and then Iran on November 29th as USA is going to try and get out of group play and make a run here. And speaking of runs, let's see if Stonehill can go on one before this half ends. Right now they trail by 11. Noah Locke double team down low. Great pass there to Croswell, who can't finish.
I think that's got to be 4 missed layups so far. They're getting in position to put the ball in the basket. It's just rolling out. And Stonehill doing a nice job of contesting early.
Andrew Sims on the attack, using his body down low against Hopkins, and he'll get the bucket and the foul. How about that from Sims?
Hey, the mullet's working. First of all, before I even evaluate the play, the mullet is working, but this is just big boy basketball. 5th-year senior using his body. Hopkins trying to maintain his physicality and maintain his verticality, rather. Doesn't matter. Andrew Sims able to get him up in the air at the last moment. Sims is a nice player. Lefty, can get to the cup, likes this little Charles Barkley turnaround, back in, find ways to score. Gives Stonehill a weapon in the NEC.
And Stonehill cuts the deficit to 9.
Stonehill's able to keep this in single digits. You have to be thrilled with how this game is going. You're swarming to the basketball. Look at all this extra defense right here. Guys coming over, helping the helper, and they're still getting out and closing. And closing, it doesn't matter, though, if Noah Locke is able to knock down shots over the top.
Noah Locke making it a 40-28 lead for the Friars. And a turnover for Stonehill. And Mack wants that one back.
One of the first real mistakes we've seen in a while from Stonehill. They're competing at a high level, giving everything they have physically, not quite where Providence is for obvious reasons coming up from Division II, but Chris Krause getting his guys to compete so far this half.
Cole Bergen back into the game for the Skyhawks.
Look at the high hands that get out contest, try to make passes difficult. There's pressure on the ball, but they're not extending past their zone as Bynum's trying to react.
More off the mark. Hopkins comes down with it. He draws the foul on Mack.
Hopkins going to be able to have a one-on-one, but look at this, just exerting his will over the defense, and Mack just reaching down, raking across the arms. That'll be a foul. But that's where you can get your rhythm back with effort plays, right? You go in, you're not hitting shots like you have been early in the game. You make those extra effort plays and create extra opportunities for yourself.
And that's 18 fouls, by the way, on Stonehill, so they're in the bonus.
What has Stonehill done to get this game back within reach is their offense has been better. It has slowed down Providence's transition in the half court or in the full court to where they can't make quick decisions and pick apart Stonehill's defense. They get back and they're able to play that little matchup zone, That's what slowed down ball movement for Providence, and they're having to make decisions. When they're just out there hooping, they're getting buckets whenever they want.
Breed checking back into the game as Locke will take a seat.
Little diamond pressure. 1-2, 1-1.
Sims going to work with a smaller Bynum on him. Tries to back him down, spin move, and finishes with the right. How about that? The lefty with the right hand.
I mean, it goes both ways, right? You have this big switchable team, and Providence is switching everything. You're going to have some mismatches. Andrew Sims, 6'7", pretty good size, can finish over the top, doesn't get in a hurry, and finishes over the smaller Bynum.
Moore off the mark. Floyd comes down with it, cross court.
I think Allen Breed's going to be shooting free throws. Number 0. I really like Breed. It's taken him a while to get to be a part of the permanent rotation, but he's an excellent athlete, a quality defender. Coach Cooley told us he trusts him, and that's a big thing heading in, especially towards conference play. He trusts him in the basketball game to know what Providence wants, but Powder Springs, Georgia, played at McEachern High School. Alongside Sharif Cooper, went to Auburn. Isaac Okori, who was a lottery pick, was one of the best public high school teams I've ever seen. And he played a role there, too, very similar to what he's doing here at Providence. And that's defending at a high level, pushing the pace, making good decisions. It's just being somebody that the coach can trust whenever he's out on the floor.
Yeah, and the biggest thing Ed Cooley talked about is now he wants to see him rebound. He said at his size, he's got to be able to get more than he's averaging about 1 board a game. So that's one of the things Cooley wants to see Breed work on, and that'll get him those more minutes.
Yeah, him and Noah Locke. I mean, both guys have good size. Noah Locke more so, he's a little bit wider at about 210. Breed has that type of athleticism. He can make an impact. But if they're able to do that, I love what Andrew Sims is doing. He's getting in there. He's using Providence's athleticism against them. He's playing with pace, showing the ball fake, and he's able to finish. Sometimes if you're not as athletic and you just take your time whenever you get in there, there's no hurry. You got 3 seconds when you get in the paint. That's an excellent pass. You get in there, take your time, finish over the top. I mean, I thought he might have shuffled his feet, but overall, Andrew Sims has been really good so far.
Yeah, the Northeast Conference Player of the Week, showing why with what we've seen out of him so far. Coming up on 30 seconds to go in the first half. Providence on top 44-33.
That ball gets stuck up on top of the key. As soon as they get it in the middle, they can make some decisions, and you're able to find shots as Bynum gets a wide open one at the 45. Bucket.
How about that?
But the ball gets in the middle. Bryce Hopkins hits the ball in the middle at the nail, so to speak, and he's able to make decisions from there.
Burnett with 5 on the clock, thought about it, down to 3. They'll have to get something off. Johnson hoists it up and hits it at the buzzer. It's good. So Providence will take a 47-36 lead going into the break here at the Amica Mutual Pavilion. We'll return to the arena for stats and analysis after this break as Providence is going to the halftime with a lead, but Stonehill has the last bucket. 11-point lead over Stonehill. Let's check out some of the first half stats. Sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. And T.O., when you see this, what stands out to you?
Well, rebounding for one, 25-11. Providence has imposed their will on the glass, but towards the end of the first half, those second chance points, they slowed down a little bit. Stonehill started to attack the paint as well on the offensive end. But if you look at what Providence and where they've had success, it's when they've been able to get out and push in transition. And one of those guys, Bryce Hopkins, has certainly been doing that as well.
Yeah, he's approaching a career high right now. You see he's got 11 points. He had 18 in the opener against Ryder. So Bryce Hopkins, yeah, he's been the guy, T.O.
Well, 14 and 8.5 are his averages. I mean, he's going to be that guy for Providence this season. I would be shocked if you didn't see a whole lot a lot more 2010 games, if you will, as the season progresses. And he kind of figures out where to attack defenses. So that's what Ed Cooley said. We have to put him in positions to score, but he also has to know where a defense is weak. He's finding out those things tonight.
And how about the fact that Stonehill cut this to an 11-point game right before the half?
Well, they slowed the game down. I think that's the biggest thing. On offense, they were at least getting shots up, and they were able to get their defense back in front of Providence. When Providence was just able to hoop, get into the paint, spray out for threes, find easy decisions around the basket, that's when they took off. Stonehill slowed things down a little bit, got their defense set, and it gave Providence some trouble.
Well, a chance to get it under single digits on the drive there, and got a little basket interference. So that one will count. And
help side over a little bit too late. Croswell, nice move, looks off the ball screen. Croswell a little bit too late on help. He should be a little bit further over towards the midline, and then that drive never happens to begin with. This zone has given them problems, which is shocking, Josh, because Providence 5 of 10 from 3. They're shooting the ball well.
Off the mark there is Carter. Croswell comes down with it and gets it to go.
Croswell is a grown man down there. He was an energy guy last year, was a backup 5. This season being relied on a little bit more. But some of the things he does to bring this team energy, he's an excellent screener, good roller. Missed a couple layups here tonight, but for the most part, he is that reliable guy.
Got a whistle on the floor as Bergen was backing down Hopkins. They called a foul on Hopkins there.
And Hopkins leaning a little bit too much. As you'll see, pushing with his weight. A little bit too much there. Stonehill moving that ball from side to side. And Croswell, he gets out. He can guard on the perimeter a little bit, but have to stay active.
Burnett on the drive and draws the foul on Bynum.
Burnett's a big body. I mean, standing about 6'5", $185. He can get downhill, and he's got a significant height advantage over Bynum. But he's pretty crafty. He's not overly athletic, but he's deceptive. Ball screen comes. He turns down a ball screen, gets baseline. Gets the goaltending Colin Croswell. There, it lulls you to sleep a little bit. He can get downhill with his right hand. Nice move. And Stonehill showing a little bit of life.
Off the mark there on the free throw. And Burnett's a guy that had 19 points against Army, so you know he could fill it up a little bit as one of the leaders for this Stonehill Skyhawks team.
If you're Providence, you need to play with pace. Move that ball quickly. Don't let it stick. And then that ball gets in the middle. Excellent pass. Deflected, but the idea was right. The execution was a little bit off. But regardless, that ball moves from side to side. It gets to the second side of the offense. That's when the defense starts to expand out. And then you can get the basketball to the nail or right in the middle of the free throw line. And Bryce Hopkins, that's where he's good at making decisions. Made some nice passes today.
See Croswell working down low. Bynum will pull.
How about Stonehill mixing up their defenses, going back to a man-to-man, and now they're off to the races.
Burnett on the attack. Hits the deck. And got a tripping foul. It's another one on Hopkins. Picked up a couple fouls in the last couple minutes.
And that was early in the possession. Because Hopkins wasn't in a dead sprint to get back, he gets put in a bad spot. And he's not moving all that much, but gets part of the knee. And Burnett able to draw the foul. That's 2 quick ones for Hopkins.
Yeah, he now has 3 in the ball game. And that's a turnover for the Skyhawks.
And that's Croswell just being active. The activity level for Providence. The ball's moving on offense. Defensively, you have to show intent with pointing out your guys, getting back in front, leading them to where the help's going to be if you aren't going to keep a guy in front. So positioning here early in the second half, especially in transition defense, could be a little bit better.
So we had a little bit of a conversation out there on the floor.
Here, play with pace, matchup zone. The wings are going to be up high, but it's really a 2-3, Josh. They get in there, you're going to be able to find a lot of those same things. Move it from side to side, get it in the middle, and you can make things happen.
Locke will pull from the wing, and Locke hits.
And that's what he can do. He gets his feet set. There's not many better shooters in the Big East Conference than Noah Locke, transferring from Louisville. But Bryce Hopkins gets it in the middle. Guys collapse. Needs to make his decisions a little bit quicker. But Locke, if he has his feet set, you can forget about it.
Backdoor cut by Stone, and how about that angle?
That's attention to detail, but an excellent pass that Stone's able to finish. 21 Bergen. I mean, standing 6'8", 6'9", and you can make those sort of passes. That's only good.
And we got a foul on the rebound.
What an unbelievable pass by Bergen. He gets in there, nice cut off the ball. Noah Locke loses his man, trying to communicate whether they're going to switch or not. Got to keep your head on a swivel. Never turn your back to the basketball. Stonehill's able to take advantage for the two.
Josh Mack back into the game for the Skyhawks.
21 Bergen, a transfer from Northern State. Coach Chris Krause really likes him. Versatile big man, can step in and out, good passer.
Mack pushing the pace. Nice pass to Zagorowski, who rattles that one home.
But that's your pickup point. That's your energy level. Get out in front, stop the dribble, make Stonehill run offense. That and Bryce Hopkins, I mean, he just picked up 2 fouls. He's a little nervous about getting a third, but regardless, if your communication is louder and better, you're bringing energy. When things aren't going well for you as a team, make it better for somebody else on your team, right? That communication needs to be high level.
Carter will pull from the wing. Croswell comes down with it. He goes up with a flush.
And that's what he brings you, that extra effort play. Junkyard dog, so to speak.
Mack lost it out of bounds. They say it's off the knee, so that'll be Providence ball.
And that's good defense by Bynum. Getting over the screen, that's not as easy as it looks. You have a ball screen coming. You have to get up, ride the offense up over top of the ball screen, and still maintain your positioning so you're not able to foul. Bynum's one of the better guards in the conference at doing that. Staying in front, not fouling. It's not just the offensive end for somebody like Bynum.
Good pass down low and a little adjustment from Croswell, and he finishes.
But that's just pace, Josh. That's just pace. That's ball moving from side to side. The defense splits or opens up, trying to get out and contest the pass. And then what happens, that nail, that free throw line, right in the middle of the free throw line, it's going to open wide up. And then Providence is moving the ball at a high level. You're able to get easy shots. And how about Croswell? They need energy. He's giving you energy. That ball comes off the rim. That's a big man, a grown man's jam as Providence trying to generate some energy to run off with it.
Welcome back to FS2 College Hoops, sponsored by Jeep. There's only one, and Providence coming off a great season. I mean, Big East regular season champions. They get a 4 seed last year in the NCAA tournament. You see those 27 wins, the second most in school history. But T.O., no starters returning for this team. And, of course, talk about what Ed Cooley did. Big East Coach of the Year, Naismith Coach of the Year. But then you got all these transfers in on the roster.
Well, it's a system that he's familiar with as far as going after the transfer portal, and man, did he load up. I mean, high-level transfers from top to bottom. You look at Power 6 transfers across the board except for LaSalle, but I'm not even going to count that because Clifton Moore started at Indiana, so he's naturally a talented guy. He talked, this team could be better by time the season is over, Josh, but at the same time, it takes a second to get all these guys to mend together.
How about Andrew Sims with the nice little hook in the paint?
Stonehill just continues to hang around. I mean, Jaden Pierre comes into the game. Obviously, he's going to bring you some energy. But, like, they're just hanging around. And whenever you have guys that can knock down threes, that's dangerous. Because the energy was started out great. It's tailed off a little bit. But how are they going to regenerate that sort of thing? Croswell doing his best in order to bring that on the offensive glass.
13-point lead right now for Providence. Sims off the mark on a triple. Hand
down, man down, just wasn't able to convert. Sims does have that capability. making 33% of his threes, but last season was even better from beyond the arc. He's somebody you have to stay on and stay consistent with.
Clifton Moore checking back into the game, and Noah Locke going to the bench. And on the other side, you see Cole Bergen back into the game for Stonehill.
Matchup zone. Now they're leaving a guard in the paint, so the opposite guard is going to take care of Moore, who's playing in the middle.
Moore, a little pump fake, goes up strong, and he's able to finish.
And the defense didn't collapse. So what happens? Little ball fake. You have basically one-on-one. If the defense doesn't collapse in, he's able to take advantage and use his length to get over the top.
Now a 15-point lead for Providence, and foul called there on Jaden Pierre.
And that's a freshman mistake. What do you want to do when you're guarding a ball screen? You need to make the guy that you're guarding use that ball screen. Jaden Pierre, a freshman, trying to stay a little bit too physical. That's what's going to happen. How about Iowa and Seton Hall? That's going to be a matchup.
Yeah.
It's going to be a matchup. You have to love what Shaheen Holloway is doing at Seton Hall. It's a different style of play than what Kevin Willard had before. They were more half-court oriented, and Shaheen is not like that. All gas, no brakes in Newark, New Jersey. Like, these guys are guarding 94 feet. So that's going to be a really fun team to watch as the season goes on. And then again, that's another team in the Big East that's dealing, watch out, that's dealing with a lot of transfers coming in. Right? So it's not just Providence. A lot of these teams are dealing with different pieces coming into their system.
Stone will give it out on the wing to Mack, who's looking for Bergen it down low. Burnett getting hounded by Jaden Pierre. Shot clock winding down. Bergen, a little pump fake. And that's a shot clock violation.
That's a big-time defensive possession. They're pushing the ball further out. All the passes are getting 3 and 4 feet outside of the three-point line. And what that does, it makes it harder to initiate cuts and actions. Providence picking up the energy. Croswell has been the catalyst. He's the guy who's getting out, pushing out these passes, denying some. And Jaden Pierre is a dude, too. He just has to figure it out. But there again, same guy, Croswell.
Croswell cleaning up the glass, and Krause wants to talk it over.
How about Devin Carter? He can get out the passing lanes and really make things happen. He's an excellent athlete. 2 hands, make it easy with the flush. Providence starting to run away with it. Providence has needed some energy, and Ed Croswell has applied it in spades. He's been pretty much the only guy at portions of this game. Offensive rebounding on the defensive end, too, but he is a grown man in the paint. Stonehill has nothing for him. A couple of Kevin Love rebounds in there as well. He'll miss a layup, but he's putting it right back. He has supplied that energy that Providence has so desperately needed in order to extend out this game so far. He's been terrific.
Yeah, Croswell up to 14 points and those 8 rebounds in the game, and Providence with their biggest lead now, up 64-45 with 13:43 to go in the second half.
You can see he's an older player. If you'll see them, he's out pressuring the ball. He's trying to deny the inbounds pass. You see him in the half court, and I think this is unique because Stonehill can do this, and not a lot of teams that Providence will play this year can do that. But you hand it to Cole Bergen, their 5-man. He can initiate offense for you, so it relieves some pressure. That'll help them whenever they play teams in their league.
And then Bergen going to work down low, and a little spin on Croswell and the bucket.
That was a cute move right there. Felt the defense coming on, quick pivot, get to the baseline. Nice little finger roll on the opposite side of the rim for Bergen. You ever heard of a cute move, Josh?
I just heard it. Heard it from you.
And I like this. Now Croswell wants the ball back. And Bynum's going to settle him down a little bit, then put him in position to get after a switch.
Pierre is going to pull and hit.
I'll tell you what, he's talented, man. Pierre, Cooley loves the kid. Thinks he's going to be an all Big East level player, and it's hard to argue with some of the things you see today. And Josh, a lot of teams, and there he is again, my man Pierre, getting out of the passing lanes, disrupting opposing offenses. But we get so focused in media as people who watch games, like freshmen have to be great right away. And that doesn't have to be the case. Jaden Pierre is going to be a really good player in the Big East and for Providence. And it's going to take some time for him to really figure it out. Lucky for him, though, he gets to play behind one of the best point guards, not only in the Big East in the country, but in the country, with Jared Bynum. So he gets to learn from that type of player in front of him. And he's going to be a good player. It's okay that it takes time.
Shot clock winding down again, and some great defense from Providence.
They've really picked it back up. There was a time towards the middle of the game, the middle fours, if you will, back into the first half, first 4 minutes of the second. Providence has picked it back up.
And a steal there from Stonehill.
What happens? Defensive pressure. That's an undisciplined play by Devin Carter, and he puts his guys in bad spots.
Andrew Sims from the corner. Devin Carter takes the contact and scores.
How about my man right here? Makes up for the mistake, gets out and runs. Mr. Carter, he'll take it on. Semi-break, gets downhill, nice pass up. And that's a strong move by Devin Carter. Providence up 18.
Welcome back. Providence holding on to a 69-49 lead over Stonehill while we are away a little in the huddle with Ed Cooley.
But here's what I want you to do. Play together. 5 guys guard the ball. The ball, the gap, and the help. Everybody block out and bust out of jail and just run, all right? But play with some energy and some emotion. I want us to play, and we got to get better. We're getting better. Every possession, we got better right there.
Well, they're up 22. They're not up 18, Josh, as I alluded to before the break. But we're neither here nor there. He's talking mostly about maintaining your level of effort, right? You're up 22 points. You're playing against a team that physically doesn't quite match up to you. It's about doing what you do, about maintaining your pressure, your physicality, your aggressiveness in the half court. Providence needs to grow from this game. That's the bottom line.
And Carter converts on the three-point play.
Well, I was going to say here, and you have to love that. You guys get out, you pressure the passing lanes on the inbounds, create a turnover right out of the gate. This is good for Jaden Pierre to get in, get some meaningful minutes. And how about the move? Slippery with the ball in his hands. Nice finish, a little crafty. The offhand, off-foot finish. He's got talent, Josh. He's got talent.
And Pierre up to 8 points in the game off the bench. Strong move there by Burnett to the rack.
I love that set. Getting Burnett coming off flying. Bynum's trying to trail to maintain contact and then just curls it and gets to the cup. That might have been that play that Coach Krause was talking about. He stole from Ed Cooley, right?
That one right there.
Okay, so the ball's sticking now. It stayed on that side of the floor the whole time. Sometimes you're going to be able to get away with it, but the defense can load up, and then you're able to run into help side. Stonehill doing a nice job staying on that line, and then you can get out and run a little bit.
Burnett inside to Bergen. Stone trying to get it inside to Sims. Sims goes to work and finishes. Sims now in double figures with 11 points.
Okay, this is where your seniors need to take over a little bit. Bynum jogging to spots. That ball's moving a little bit, but continue to play with pace. You're the tone setter as the point guard. Make things happen for your team. That's a big-time finish if he's able to do it. But now get back on defense. You need to communicate. Be the example.
Stone with a nice move in transition.
Stone with 10 points. For what it's worth, he's been pretty good tonight. I mean, he's attacking, getting out in transition. He's knocked down a couple of shots, especially around the rim. Pretty decent athlete as a William and Mary transfer.
Yeah, and Krause did say when we talked to him, he's out there and he's got something to prove, and I think he's proven that tonight.
How about Stonehill just getting out and running whenever they're able to get out in the open floor? Nice cross-court pass, across the street, if you will. Thatcher Stone. That's not an easy finish. Pretty good.
I like the little celebration afterwards with the wings too, huh? I'm
a big guy. I'm a big celebrate while down 20 guy. I don't know if you are, Josh, but I'm a big celebrate when down 20.
Bottom off the mark on the first free throw. Zagorowski and Mack checking back into the game for the Skyhawks.
And Jared Bynum, who's able to knock down his second, he hasn't scored the ball a lot, but he's pushed the ball up. It hasn't been a game where he's necessarily been needed. But for the most part, initiating offense, trying to move the basketball, but you need to maintain your level of consistency at the point guard position, and then it'll be really telling to see how he's helping his team from the bench. Those things help, especially when you have younger guys out there.
You saw Breed just checked back into the ball game for the Friars. Burnett on the drive, tried to get it to Zagorowski. It gets there anyway.
I feel like Bryce Hopkins could show a little bit more effort and a little more activity, but Jaden Pierre, he will. Forget about it. Clear the runway. That's not terrible for 6'1".
For a freshman, too.
Big-time athlete. Gets downhill, gets out into passing lanes. It brings that type of athleticism and energy. Jaden Pierre's a dude here. At least he's going to be.
Yeah, a little showtime from the freshman. Mack on the other end will try and answer, and does.
When that ball pops, it's hard to guard, right? If you're able to move that ball that easily, it's hard to guard. Wide open three in the corner. Mack certainly capable. A little more zone. Going back to that extended 2-3, if you will. And I think Allen Breed was shocked at how open he actually was there.
Burnett in transition. Another steal by Pierre. Great pass, and it's stolen by Mack. Mack will attack Hopkins. Couple moves and banks it home.
And this is where Bryce Hopkins at Kentucky wasn't relied on as much as a big minute guy. You have to maintain your effort and consistency. This is part of his growing process too, right? I'm willing to bet that Ed Cooley during this next time out says something about, hey, maintain your consistency with your efforts. We've said it about 4 or 5 times. Noah Locke can shoot the basketball. If he has time and he has space, you can forget about it.
Locke extends the lead back out to 20 for Providence. Pass to Thatcher Stone, cutting to the rim.
So now, after the second pass, Stonehill switched back to a switching man-to-man defense, and that's when you can attack. That's a strong move. They don't have anybody for Mr. Moore as an and one. But Jaden Pierre, he gets out in the passing lanes. There's not many better athletes. The freshman takes off, shows out a little bit in Providence.
Saturday on Fox, we got huge games with a lot on the line at noon Eastern as 4th-ranked TCU looks to keep their college playoff hopes alive against Baylor. Then at 4 Eastern, Iowa takes on Minnesota. Then 8th-ranked USC battles crosstown rival number 11 UCLA as Pac-12 championship tickets are on the line in that one. It all begins Saturday at noon Eastern on Fox.
Providence has been spreading the wealth. Devin Carter's leading you off with 14. He started with the first 7 of the game, and then the ball is just moving around. Ed Croswell has done most of his damage on the offensive glass, but this is what can make this Friar team dangerous heading into conference play or heading into Feast Week or whatever we're going to talk about, because they have so many different guys who can beat you from different spots on the floor. Lineup versatility is a big thing. Multiple shooters on the floor. Guys who can bring energy. Jaden Pierre has done a nice job of that so far. It's still doing it here with about 7 minutes to go.
And Providence now extended the lead to 21 points. On the attack, nice little spin there. Burnett just short on the shot. Locke on the drive, a little hesitation and banks that one home.
And that's what happens, Noah Locke. What happens, you hit 3 threes, then you're able to play off your shot fake and get to where you want to get. Big, strong, physical move at 210 pounds. Guys are just going to bounce off of it.
Zegarowski draws the foul on Moore, so he'll head to the free throw line.
I'm not sure what Moore could have done better there. Maybe get a little bit further in front, but I thought he had good position, kept his hands off. Regardless, it doesn't matter what I think. Josh, he's going to the free throw line.
And you know, Zegarowski, we talked about his twin, Marcus, who was a star over at Creighton, but he's also the half-brother of Michael Carter-Williams. Remember him, former Rookie of the Year in the NBA, last played with the Orlando Magic. 2014 Rookie of the Year. Yeah, played for those Philadelphia 76ers. Trust the process, man.
I saw Michael Carter-Williams play for BABC at the Nike Peaks Jam, and he went for 52.
52.
Played with Nerlens Noel. That was a really good team.
Yeah, a couple of former Sixers you mentioned right there.
I love this set.
Clifton Moore.
That's one you have to finish, though. You get that ball that close, you're inside the charge circle, basically. That's one, if you're Clifton Moore, that one has to go through for you. But nice set. You get the ball in from the top of the key. Help side's it's a lot more difficult for help side to come over.
Chaz Stinson, the Charlotte native in the game for Stonehill, off the mark on that last attempt. Bryce Hopkins goes to the paint and draws the foul.
That's a strong move. And that showed his quickness right there. Jab, hesitate, get back downhill. There's not going to be a lot of people that can guard that. And because of his size at 6'7", 220 pounds, once he gets in there, it makes it really difficult to match up with him.
And Hopkins with 11 points and 8 rebounds, so he's flirting with a double-double.
Providence is full of pieces. I mean, they come in waves. When are they going to figure it out? How soon are they going to figure it out? I mean, Cooley has put together a roster that can certainly compete with anybody. And it was better today, right? The first few games, Noah Locke, Devin Carter, they had a tendency to run towards the ball. Well, you don't have to do that when you play with a guy like Jared Bynum or Jaden Pierre. Those guys are going to find you. Run to the corners. Find your spots. Obvious improvement in those areas today.
Stinson down low. Muser with it. Kicks it out. Zegarowski's going to pull. Zegarowski hits. How about that?
That funky jump shot, hand down, man down. He puts it right out in front of your face, and he shoots it over the top. And it wasn't right toes on the three-point line either. That had pretty good distance on it.
Yeah, showing off the range.
I like it. Get Jaden Pierre in space. Let him use his quickness. But Croswell, this is where he needs to score with consistency. And he's able to do so. Roman move.
Croswell finishing over 2. He's going to go back to the line there, T.O.
Nice face. Looks at the baseline. Faces, sets up his drop step, goes over the top, uses his length. Muser a second too late coming over for the double team. And one of the reasons, too, you enter the ball from the top of the key like they did is Muser's going to be late, right? Because the rotation to come over and double team the big man is longer. So that puts him in position to score quickly, which he did.
Corey Floyd Jr. checking back into the ball game, the redshirt freshman out of Franklin, New Jersey. Just a little bit short on that free throw.
It's windy in Providence.
And it'll happen.
Corey Floyd redshirt last year at UConn. And I know there's going to be a lot of Providence fans are going to relish the fact that he transfers from UConn to Providence. But he is a pit bull of a guard. Now, it's going to take him a while to figure things out offensively at the collegiate level. But from an effort standpoint, like he's got to get out there. That's one of those learning things. If you jump to the ball and you're out on top, that switch is a lot easier. What happens is, because he's not alert off the ball, he gets stuck behind a screen and it ends up in an open shot for Stonehill. Those are some of those little minutia, if you will, when you play for Ed Cooley. It's going to take a second for those things to come together. Good ball movement.
And there's Floyd from the wing, just off the mark. Burnett, nice move. Can't complete it, and Muser with the putback, and he gets that one to go.
How about Muser? Allen Breed getting stuck on a mismatch, and obviously he's giving up about 5 inches. But Muser using his size a little bit, the freshman helping out as much as he can, trying to put Stonehill back in contention, but it might be a long way to go.
Around these parts, they call themselves New York's team. That's what St. John's is, and their leader on the floor is the guy who's the Energizer Bunny. Posh Alexander trying to keep the team red hot to begin the new season against Central Connecticut. Coming up next.
Welcome back to Amica Mutual Pavilion. Providence on top 87-69, and you know it's a good game for the Friars when you got a little sprinkler action. I think is that what they call that?
Hey, a lot of moves, baby. A lot of moves happening in the amp. Not the dunk anymore, the amp.
You ever pulled off one of those, the sprinkler? What's your go-to? Is that it?
There's too many moves for me to single one out.
Too many. Oh, all right.
I mean, they don't call me the life of the party, but it's not far off.
Some kind of party?
Yeah, it's a party.
Floyd able to kick that one out, and that'll go into the backcourt. So that's a turnover for Providence.
Freshman mistake, just playing a little bit too fast. I'm interested to see Rafael Castro, who just checked in the game. Number 3, he's got incredible length. Standing close to 7 feet tall, really long wingspan, a little bit raw, averaged 4 blocks a game in the 2 exhibitions. Like, he's somebody that could make a defensive impact in a conference full of centers that make defensive impact. If you look around the league, gosh, you look at Creighton with Kalkbrenner, you look at Butler with Manny Bates, who at about 6'11", nice finish by Castro, about 6'11", like, led the ACC in block shots before transferring. So in a league where you need rim protection, Castro could be that next guy for Providence and Ed Cooley.
Johnson's going to pull from the wing, and Johnson hits. Another 3 from him. He's come out firing in this one, now up to 12 points.
Quick release, solid elevation. Really good shooter.
Floyd will pull this one from the wing, and how about that stroke from the freshman?
He's got a lot to learn, but what a pass out by Pierre. I thought he was going to try to dunk it. Saw the defense coming in from the strong side, pitches out. If Corey Floyd can do that, Johnson can't do that. He can do that for sure. 5 threes on the day for him. But if Corey Floyd can knock down threes like that, I mean, that's going to be something that's obviously going to develop from his game.
So what have you seen from Providence in terms of this game? Because we know Ed Cooley talked about this team putting it all together, and obviously it's early, but a strong showing.
Well, you're looking at pieces, right? Who plays well together, who fits together. His starting 5, I'm not going to say it's all set in stone, but they have pieces that can be good, at least in theory, right? Devin Carter's going to attack the rim. Noah Locke's going to shoot. Bynum's going to orchestrate. So coming in, where's your effort level coming off the bench? That second unit is crucial.
Yeah, they got some big-time games coming up, of course, in that Hall of Fame tip-off tournament. You see they've got Miami, and then they'll either have Maryland or St. Louis, so they're going to get some tests.
You want to see a game of guards? Jared Bynum is going to go up against 2 guards for Miami that are really, really talented. Isaiah Wong is one of the best isolation scorers in the country, and he led Miami to an Elite 8 appearance last season. They signed Nigel Pack, who was a transfer from Kansas State. That's going to be a game of guards. Providence, they're going to have to guard the ball really, really well because Miami has guys that can create things for themselves. Jared Bynum's going to have to be ready to go. first true test this season for Providence.
Yep, and coming up, checking out the 2022 Gavitt Games schedule. Northwestern just tipped that game at Georgetown. You see Marquette in action tonight as well at Purdue. And on Wednesday, you got Iowa at Seton Hall. That's the one you were talking about there, T.O.
I'm excited to see that one because the Big Ten in general is a little bit slower of a league. Going to run their sets through, use the entirety of the shot clock. Iowa is very much like that. That's a strong one. That's a strong one. Iowa is very much like that. They're going to use the entirety of the clock. Seton Hall, like I said earlier, that's an exciting bunch of guys because there's so much length and athleticism on their team. Bryce Hopkins doing his best Charles Barkley impersonation.
You know what I noticed about Bryce Hopkins? The fact that he had blue shoes on in the first half. He's got the yellow ones on right now. Were you a switch shoe guy or what? What's the deal
here's
with this?
Here's the thing. You're much more in tune with the swag than I've ever thought about.
You see the things I noticed out here?
You know what? I'm a big fan of the Kobe's right here.
Yeah, I'm a big shoe guy. I love the shoes no matter what you're wearing. I just, to switch shoes is interesting to me.
I was just trying to keep up. If I was the athlete that Bryce Hopkins is, I probably could have spiced it up a little bit, but I was just trying to keep up with where I was at.
Well, Hopkins having himself a night, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists in this one. And a couple guys out there wearing the Kobe's.
Yeah, Jaden Pierre wearing the same thing. Josh, you can be my stylist if I need one.
Hey, man.
I might never need one. I'm already married. A lot of those things, I don't need that anymore.
Now, I could throw together a fit, man.
I believe it. Providence going to hit 100 today.
And Hopkins goes to the bench. His night might be done.
Ed's big on shoes, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always rocking something nice. And who else, right? Who's on the floor right now? You're up, what is it, 19 points? I'm just guessing at this point because my math is all over the place. But
I think you got that one.
See, I did. Bingo. So 95-76. You have 2 minutes left and your senior's on the floor. That's setting your tone, right? You have some young guys on the floor right now. Hopkins is a sophomore.
Yep.
Jaden Pierre's a freshman. Corey Floyd's a redshirt freshman. Excuse me.
Yep.
Like, he leaves his senior out there. Why? Because he helps you set the tone. Bynum's out there.
The refs having a little conversation out there on the floor. But, yeah, I mean, Cooley talked about getting this team to gel. The best way to do that is obviously to leave them out there and have them play through it no matter what the score is.
With that, you're going super big with both Moore and Croswell on the floor together. And I like it. There's your top entry pass. Another missed layup, but Providence able to physically overwhelm Stonehill. But there's another example because Clifton Moore at 6'11" can shoot the basketball from 3. You're dragging his man out with you. He's going to be guarded by other 5s or other 4s. You go big with Moore and Croswell. It's going to open up that floor for Croswell in the paint. He needs to be able to convert that as the season goes along now.
Yeah, and Moore now up to 12 points, 7 boards in this game. And how about what you've seen from Moore? You talked about young, but the size is something.
Well, I like his versatility, right? At 6'11", 220 pounds, he can run some elbow actions for you out on the perimeter, some dribble handoffs. He's a decent passer. He has that skill at that size that you really like. And he's somebody that could space the floor for you in theory. Now, we'll see how that goes as the competition rises, but he's got a smooth jump shot. He's a capable passer, pretty good defender. And this is excellent defense by Devin Carter coming over on the help side. And now you're in scramble mode. Excellent job, good closeouts, but Johnson not able to knock that one down. He's been good, but that's a good possession. You're creeping up towards the end of the game. Guys are still flying around.
Yeah, Johnson 5 of 7 from deep in this one, but not able to get that one to go. Coming up on a minute to go, Providence on top 97-76. Bynum on the drive gets that one to Croswell. Swarm around him. Zagorowski pulls that one away. And a turnover for Providence. We're going right back the other way as Croswell comes up with the steal.
Now you set up, you get one last good possession, and you finish out this game. Overall, Josh, I thought outside of about a 5-6 minute period in the middle of the game, and there's more, that's what he can do. You ask me, that's what he can do. Extend the defense out at 6'11". But outside of about a 6-minute stretch, you have to love what Providence was able to do today. Obviously, it's not against an opponent that they're going to be facing like the rest of the year, but at the same time, I like their intensity level. I liked how they played together. The guards are figuring each other out. All in all, you put up 100 on anybody, you have to be pretty happy.
As the clock winds down, the final score of this one, 100-76. Providence now getting to 3-0 on the season, while Stonehill drops to 1-3. Ed Cooley shakes hands, and you know this had to be a special one, whether he wanted to admit it or not, playing against Stonehill, a team that he played for and was an assistant coach for back in the day.
Well, his team got better. He said that was the biggest emphasis coming into today. And Providence, they did. They got better. Their guards are figuring each other out. He's figuring out rotations, but playing against your alma mater, helping them out, because this is a bye game, obviously, helping them out and in other ways. I mean, all-encompassing, this was a good night for the Providence Friars and Ed Cooley.
And you had 6 guys in double figures for Providence, of course, led by Cliff Moore with 16.